Hello and welcome to week 5 of the Zero Carbon Schools programme for Greenleaf. And what I would like you to do to start off with is the same as the last few weeks. I'd like you to have a go at the 5 quick questions following the link on your activity sheet. So if you haven't done that already, press pause, have a go at those 5 questions. This week they are all based around the last episode of the Perfect Planet series about humans and the activity and the impact that humans' activities are having on the planet. I hope you've watched some of that series and enjoyed it. The last one is really relevant to what we're doing in this course. So once you've done that, what we're going to do this week is, let me just share my screen to see the slides. And yes, here we go. So what we're going to be looking at this week is we're going to try and find out what the total carbon emissions from travel to and from Greenleaf are. Okay, so that's part of what we're doing. We're working out the carbon emissions from all the different areas of the school. And last week, if you remember, we looked at the results from the survey that you had done, which leads to the school travel plan. And we put them all together into a table, and you worked out the totals. And the good news was that most children get to and from school by walking, which is obviously no carbon emissions at all, which is great news. But what we're going to do this week is we're going to actually work out the carbon emissions from those methods of transport that do emit some carbon. So like cars and buses, and I think there's a few people get the tube. So what I've done is I've put all of those results together. I've used Excel to do this. It's a little bit complicated, so you don't need to worry exactly where these numbers have come from, but I've kind of simplified it and put all of the children here who walk, scoot and cycle. So there's 268 of them. I haven't put how many miles because obviously there are going to be no carbon emissions from walking, scooting and cycling. But for the other methods of transport, so there's 1 person got the tube, 6 got the bus, 59 got the car, took the car into school. I've worked out roughly an estimate of how many miles that means that everybody has travelled over the course of the whole year. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some calculations now. So I would like you to, same as last week, I would like you to copy down that table. And once you've copied the table, press pause on the video now. Once you've copied the table, then press play again, and I'm going to explain to you what you need to do next. So you should have copied that table down now. And the next thing I'd like you to do is you're going to put an extra heading on a new column, okay, which is for CO2 in brackets kg. So that means kilograms of carbon dioxide, okay. And what we've done is I found from a spreadsheet which the government produces something called EF, which is emissions factors. And that means if you multiply that number by the number of miles travelled by the different methods of transport, you get how many kilograms of carbon dioxide are produced. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the number in the miles column by the EF, okay? Use a calculator, okay? All right, it's too hard to do without a calculator, so I've done it all in a calculator. So multiply those two numbers together and put them in the column CO2 kg, okay? Again, press pause, have a go at that. When you're ready for the answers, press play. So hopefully you've had a go at that. Now you might have ended up with some numbers with a decimal point there. Okay, don't worry too much about that. What we're going to do is we're going to round those to the nearest whole number, and let's see if you've got answers that look like this. So from getting the tube, there was 30 kilograms of carbon dioxide, bus 296. The most obviously is from car, because that's how more people got in, and that's 9,416 kilograms of carbon dioxide. Okay, so next thing to do is we're going to put in an extra row at the bottom for total. So what I want you to do, again with your calculators, or you can do this by hand if you wanted to, can you work out the total number of children that were in the survey, and then the total of the kilograms of carbon dioxide. So the total for those two columns, number and kg, CO2 kg. Okay, again, press pause, press play when you want the answers. So what you should have here is 344 children. Okay, if you remember, that was actually the number that we had last week. So that shows that we've got it right. And if you added up all of those kilograms of carbon dioxide, we end up with 10,382. Now we're nearly there, but that's not quite the final answer for the whole school, because actually not everybody was included in that survey. So we didn't, I think the reception classes weren't included, nursery weren't included, and some people were absent. So what I found out from Miss O'Donnell was that actually at the school there are 400, and I can't exactly remember, 466 children at the school in total. So what I did is I worked out if they get to school in roughly the same way as everybody else does, that gives us a total of 14,063 kilograms. Okay, last little step for this bit is we're going to work out how much that is in tons, because that's a big number. So if you remember, there is 1,000 kilograms in 1 ton. So I want you to divide that number by 1,000 and work out how many tons that would be, and see if you can give it to 1 decimal place. You can try it in your head, or you can have a go on the calculator. Again, press pause if you need a bit more time. What you should end up with is 14.1 tons. Okay, so that's from the children getting to school. Right, next thing to do is we're going to do exactly the same thing for the staff. Okay, so first of all, copy down the table, press pause, press play when you're ready. Then we're going to work out the kilograms of carbon dioxide. Remember, we're going to do that by multiplying the number in the miles column by the EF, the emissions factor, and use a calculator to do that. Again, press pause, press play when you're ready for the answers. And remember, if you can round it to the nearest whole number, that would be brilliant. Okay, hopefully you've done that now. And there are the answers for the staff. And lastly, we're going to work out the total. So put an extra row at the bottom for total, work out the total number of staff. That should be easy. You could do that in your head, and add up the kilograms of carbon dioxide. So again, press pause if you need more time. You should end up with 32 staff and 3,496 kilograms of carbon dioxide. Now, again, that's not quite the final answer, because again, I asked Miss O'Donnell, how many staff do you have at school? Because only the staff that were actually in classes were included in that survey. So there are some office staff. This includes cleaning staff, catering staff, site staff, and senior management who might not have been in the lessons. So in total, there are 70 members of staff at the school. So the total kilograms of carbon dioxide ended up being 7,648. And again, we're assuming that those people not included in the survey get to school in a similar way to those people who are included. So that's the staff carbon emissions. And again, what I would like you to do is try to convert that into tons to make it an easier number. So there's, again, 1,000 kilograms in 1 ton. How many tons do you think that is to 1 decimal place? So what you should end up with is 7.6 tons. Finally, last thing, remember what our question at the start was, what is the total carbon emissions from travel? So we're going to add up the children and the staff. And what do you think we get? You could do that in your head, possibly, or again, use your calculator if you need to. And we end up with a total of 21.7 tons. Okay, so it sounds like quite a lot. There's quite a lot. So let's just kind of visualize that. That is roughly, if you want to visualize it this way, that is roughly the weight of 3.5 elephants. Okay, so we emit 3.5 elephants worth of carbon dioxide from getting to and from school. So that's it for now. I'm going to explain next week about what we're going to do about that, and maybe write some recommendations about how we could reduce that potentially if we decide to. And finally, I'm just going to leave you with another activity, which is around extend your learning. We've had a few tasks to watch things on TV, some good programs for you. This week, I'm not sure if you're watching this before half term or after half term. It doesn't really matter. If you've done it, if it's after half term, maybe you've done this already, but you can do it at the weekend or any time. What I'd really like you to try and do is to visit Epping Forest. So if you watched any of the Perfect Planet series, there's an amazing wildlife shot all around the world, but we actually have an amazing natural space just on our doorstep here in London. And there's lots of trees around there. So what I want you to do is to see if you can go out and visit Epping Forest and spend some time in the trees. See if you can find out see if you can see any animals or birds, or see if you can see some different types of trees. It's really only about half an hour walk from Greenleaf Primary School. Some of you might live even closer. And there's lots of benefits from actually spending some time in trees. There's been research done on it that you can feel calmer and less worried and happier. So it's a really good thing to do. Go along, go with some friends or with your family, have some fun and enjoy it. It's really been snowy this week when I'm recording this, so it's a bit cold, but I mean that can make it even more fun. So really encourage you to do that. Get outside, have some fun and enjoy the natural world. Okay, that's it for now. Look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.